Hey, what's up guys? In this video we are going to talk about how to implement data security in tabular model. First I will create 3 simple tables and then I'll create a model using these tables. Then I'll show you how to browse data using Excel pivot tables. After that we will create a data security scenario and then I'll show you how we can implement data security by creating some roles and using DEX expression. Once it is done, I'll show you how to validate it using Excel and SQL Server Management Studio. At last, I'll present one more complex security requirement and show you how to implement it. In tabular model, there are various ways to implement the data security. We are going to see how we can implement it using roles and simple text expression. In this presentation, I will focus only on data security and I will not cover model security, which is a different topic. In this video, I will be using this example. We have dim country and fact sales table. Dim fact sales table have country of sales ID and country of purchase ID columns, which has relationship with dim country table. So dim country table is our role playing dimension. In this slide, you can see the data that I'll insert in these two tables. In dim country table, I will insert 5 records and in fact table, I will insert 15 records. In the fact table, I will insert 3 records for each country of sales. Let me do this. I already have scripts ready to do this task. So first I'll create all the tables. So here dim country, then I'll create fact sales table. Then as I said, I'm going to insert 5 records in dim country table, and at last I will insert 15 records in the fact table. Okay, this is done. On this slide you can see data from the fact table along with country of sales and country of purchase. As I said, I inserted 3 records for each country of sales. And for each country of sales, there is one record in the fact table where country of purchase is same as country of sales. We will use this information while implementing the data security. Now I am gonna create a tabular model using those 2 tables, and once I am done, I will deploy the model. So here I already have one simple sample model which is empty. So first I will import some tables. My service account is not properly set up on my laptop, so in this example I will be using my credential. Then I will import dim country and fact sales table, and I'll give some meaningful name for dim country table. So let's say dim country of sales. Actually, as I said, the dim country table is our role playing dimension, so I will import this table one more time. Okay, it's done. And import team country table, as I said, one more time. This time I'll call it team country of purchase. Okay, it's done. So first I'll create some relationship. So dim country of purchase ID has relationship with the fact table based on this column, and country of sales ID has relationship with dim country of sales table. Now I'll rename few columns and I'll assign them some meaningful name. So this will become country of purchase, and this will become country of sales. Okay, and now I will hide few columns that we don't need. And I will also hide this column and this column. Now I will create one measure. Okay, our model is ready. Now let's deploy it. First I will check my server name. Okay, server name is correct. Let's deploy it. Okay, deployment is done. Let's go to our presentation. Now I'll show you how to browse tabular model data using Excel pivot table. So here first I'll create some connection. Now let's select country of sales, country of purchase, and our measure. Now you can see the output. Nothing special here. For each country of sales, there are 3 records with different country of purchase. Let's assume that you have 3 users, test user 1, test user 2, and test user 3. Test user 1 wants to access Canada sales data, test user 2 wants to access China sales data, and test user 3 needs to access all sales data. To achieve this, I'll create these 3 roles. I will assign test user 1 to standard user 1, test user 2 to standard user 2 role, and test user 3 to power user role. Then I'll assign read-only permission to each role. Then I will use these row filters on country of sales. Let's do this. Read-only permission, as I said, I will add test user 1 here, and the row filter I'll apply some text filter on dim country of sales. Because this is wants to access Canada sales data, it's okay, it's done. One more role, standard user 2 with same read-only permission. Here I'll add test user 2 and I'll apply similar row filter here. But for China, I'll create final role for power user. Here I will add test user 3, but I'm not going to create any raw filter, because as I said, test user 3 wants to access all sales data, so this role will have no raw filter. Okay, it's done. Once you implemented any data security solution, you must validate it before deploying it on production. I'll show you how you can do using Excel pivot table and SSMS. First, I will create 3 pivot tables connected to the same cube. Then I will use roles connection string property. Let's do this. So this is our data, and before I create the pivot table, let me show you what each user should see. So standard user 1 should see Canada sales data, so he should be able to see all these 3 records, and standard user 2 should be able to see China sales data, so he must be able to see all these 3 records. And power user, because we did not use any row filter, so he must be able to see all 15 records. So let's see. So as I said, I'll modify the connection string, and I'll apply roles property. Roles equal to standard user 1, no need for double quotes. Okay, let's browse some data. So country of sales. So now you can see that this user student user 1 can only see Canada sales data. Let me also select country of purchase and the measure. Okay, so as I said, he is now able to see only these three reports. I'll create one more pivot table for standard 2. Now I'll modify the connection string. Let's select country of sales. I must have made some mistake in the text expression. Let's check. Oh, I forgot to use the square bracket. Okay, it should work now. Okay, it's working. And I'll create final pivot table for power user. So for power user, the total is 4500, and here the total is 4500. So you can see that our security implementation code is working fine. Standard user 1 and standard user 2 roles can access only subset of data, and power user can access all data. So because security is working fine for roles, it will also work for individual user added to these roles. Now we will see how we can validate data access for individual user. Using effective username connection string property is most easy way to validate individual user access. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for local Windows user. It requires that the user must be a domain user and not simply a local Windows user. My laptop is not connected to any domain, so I cannot test it. If I do so, it will return some error. Let me show you this. So let's say if I change the connection string for this and I add effective username property it will not work. So here you can see the error. There are currently no logon servers available to service the logon request. Actually this error message is not very clear, but it is because my users are not domain users. There is one more way to test it using SSMS. We will just need to open multiple SSMS sessions using multiple user accounts. I already have 3 more SSMS windows open, one for each user. So here you can see this SSMS window was open using a test user 1 account. Let me write it somewhere. This session is open using test user 2 account. And this was open using test user 3 account. Now I will execute one simple text query for each user and check how much data they can access from the fact table. So here you can see test user 1 can access only 3 records from the fact table, and these 3 records are for Canada, as you can see the amount. And country of sales ID. I will execute the same query for each user. So this user must be able to see China sales data. Yeah, for transaction IDs 4, 5 and 6. So he can only access 3 records, and because this user is a power user, he must be able to see all 15 records. So you can see that the security implementation is also working fine for individual user. If a user is a member of multiple roles, then he or she will have permission of each individual role. For example, test user 1 is currently part of standard user 1. Let's assume that by mistake you added this user to standard user 2. In that case, test user 1 will have access to both Canada and China sales data. Let me show you this. So let's say, because currently the test user 1 is part of this role, let's say by mistake I add this user to this role as well. Okay, so if I'll execute this query now, this user now should be able to access 6 records, 3 records from Canada sales data and 3 records of China sales data. So you can see it's working. So as a summary, if a user is a member of multiple roles, then he will have access to all the data related to those roles. We saw this in our previous example, where each user need to access particular sales data, and to achieve this we created these roles. Now let's say user have one more criteria. Test user 1 wants to access Canada sales data, but the country of purchase should not be China, should not be Canada. Test user 2 wants to access China sales data, but the country of purchase should not be China, and there is no new criteria for test user 3. The problem here is both these columns, country of sales and country of purchase, are not in the same table, so previous text expression will not work. Even though country of sales and country of purchase do not have direct relationship, but they both have relationship with the fact table. Because of that, row filters on fact table will work. We will need to use the related function because these columns are not in the same table. So what I am going to do is, I will first remove the existing row filter on dim country of sales table, and then I will add new row filter on the fact table, and in that row filter I will be using a related function. Let's do this. So first I remove this, and I will add new row filter on this table. So related and I will be using AND operator. Not equal to. So here we are saying that the country of sales should be equal to Canada, but the country of purchase should not be equal to Canada. So I will apply similar filter in standard user 2 as well. I will also remove this user because this was just for our experiment. Here I will remove previous text filter and apply new one, and here this time it is for China. And for power user there will be no row filter. Now let me show you if it's working or not. So in our previous example we saw that the student user 1 was able to access these 3 records. So now he should not be able to see this record because here the country of sales and country of purchase both are Canada, and same apply to this record. So student user 2 should not be able to see this record because in this record the country of purchase and the country of sales both are set to China. So we just need to refresh all these pivot tables. That's it. So now you can see the standard user 1 can access only these 2 records. Standard user 2 now can access only these 2 records, and there is no change for power user. So it's working. So this is how you can implement data security based on multiple columns of different table. In this video we learned how to implement data security using columns from the same dimension and columns from different dimension. We also learned how to validate security implementation, which is very important. We also learned what happens when you add same user in multiple roles. The approach that we followed so far has some limitations. First, every time you want to modify the security, you need to modify DEX expression in roles. So it is static in nature. Second, all users belongs to the same role can have same security implementation. What if you have thousands of users and each of them wants to have access different set of data at different security criteria, and the security criteria are changing quite often. In this case, you will end up having hundreds or thousands of roles, and the maintainability of those roles will be tedious. In my next video, I'll show you how to implement dynamic security. So in dynamic security, you can implement different kind of security for different user using a single role. This video ends here. Thank you for watching this video. Your suggestions and comments are most welcome. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment section, and please subscribe.